that beard's even bushier than normal. You've been working on the beard, man. It's good beard, good beard work.
To be fair, this is less work because I'm trimming it less.
Oh yeah, good point. Good
Yeah.
point. Yeah. Well, your beard, the beard game is strong in this one.
Yeah. Thank you. I mean, it's my favorite thing because it hides so much of my face, and that makes me happy.
I can get with that. Although you have got some really impressive sort of cartoons of you now, which I'm also liking a lot.
The thanks to the magic of AI.
Really, is it all AI?
Yeah, well, there's really only one cartoon image of me, and I've just been reusing that on stuff. But that was
Right.
literally me just fucking around with AI, and AI did all these different versions of what I asked it to make. And I didn't think any of them were going to be good. I was just fucking around. And then there was the one, and I go, oh, I actually like that. So I'm like, all right, I'm going to use that.
Brilliant,
Yeah.
brilliant. Well, I'm going to do a little bit of research here. I'm actually going to work out what episode we're on.
I feel like it's 20 or 21.
Well, actually, you should just fucking leave all of this in because we're recording now anyway, aren't we? So
Yeah,
it's
I mean, it
yeah.
depends on when you want it to start. I'm used to starting things with some sort of random conversation that has nothing to do with what the fuck the show's about anyway.
Well, I mean, this is kind of how we roll, right? It was episode 20 that came out on Monday, February the 26th. So quite a
So
while.
so this is episode 21. Our show is finally old
Yes.
enough to drink. Look at that.
Yeah. There we go. I like that. Good work. Yeah, absolutely. Totally. Um, oh God, I've got so many alarms going off at the moment. Right, there we go. Cool. Right, get rid of that. Close that. Stop that.
Professional at
Yeah.
your work, folks. This is
Yeah,
professional
absolutely.
work.
Absolutely. Shall I do the oh right, okay, we've started thing now then.
Oh yeah, sure, why not?
Right, okay. Oh yeah, yeah. Why not? Why not?
Forget all of that stuff you guys just heard for the past couple
Yeah,
minutes.
yeah.
Now is where it starts.
Welcome back to episode 21 of Old Bollocks with me, Howard H. Smith, and my good friend Steve Oldhead Ivy.
Hello, hello.
Hello.
And that brings up a good point. The cool new features that we've discovered doing cranked and ranked on the iMac. I can do things like this.
Wow, yes. Yeah, you've been working hard on that, haven't you?
I don't have to do shit. I just turned it on, and then hand gestures now do things. For those listening,
Yeah.
we, we,
Doesn't really work for you guys. So yeah,
yeah,
never
sorry.
mind.
There was
Yeah.
fireworks, and then there was lasers, and then now we're done.
Well,
That's it.
I have got a new laptop since last we spoke, but yeah, I'm it's lovely. It's not a Mac, doesn't do stupid things, you know. For those of you listening, fuck all is happening. All right. For those of you watching, fuck all is happening.
Exactly, exactly.
And of course, funny thing is, I was thinking, wow, we're doing this episode on which is, you know, it's going to come out whenever, but it's very close to the Kerry King album coming out.
Oh,
Um,
and I haven't
and I
heard it
was
yet. I don't know if you have.
no, I haven't. Well, I kind of think I have. I've got Repentless. Um,
Good
um,
point.
uh, yeah, I've read some reviews. I'm still of the same mind. Neither of the songs have blown me away or anything like that, but I want to hear it all in context as an album, and see how it grabs me or it doesn't.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, we'll see, we'll see. But
Yeah, I don't think it is, but I also don't think I'm going to hate it. I just don't think it's going to make me very excited. So,
yeah, I have been slightly encouraged by a couple of reviews I've read where they have said that there are things here that would not appear on a Slayer album. There are touches and bits
oh,
and pieces that you wouldn't expect, which, you know, I'm pleased to hear because yeah, you don't really want Repentless 2 with Marcos Agueda on vocals.
yeah.
It's yeah, that's not really going to work. So yeah, I think it'd be pretty cool. It'd be well, you know, Let's wait and see. I've pre-ordered it. I'm waiting for it to arrive.
Oh, you actually pre-ordered it. Okay.
Pre-ordered the compact disc, dear boy. That's going to be dropping.
What year is it? I'm just kidding.
I know. It's in my head. It's still the year of uncompressed music, uncompressed sound. Those big old fat. I will be playing it on a traditional stereo, with a graphic equalizer, and honestly, it's like 1985 up in this bitch.
To be fair, like I've started to do a thing where like I don't even want to listen. So I used to like listen to an album one time right when it came out on streaming, and then again if I got a vinyl, like if I was that into the album. But now I've gotten to the point now where I just wait. So if the vinyl is delayed, I'm like, sorry guys, I am not listening to your album yet.
Wow, fair enough. I think pretty much we live in the world of the vinyl is delayed because there's just such a backlog that.
Well, to be fair, one of the things I'm going to review today hasn't come out yet, and I already have it on vinyl. So
it's not out, but you have the vinyl.
Yes, comes out Friday. Well, I mean, when this comes out, it'll probably already be out, but still.
Would I know this band?
No, absolutely not.
Oh right, okay. I'm not going to make a fool of myself and suggest who it is then.
I'll save that until later. No, because the one that I talked to you about earlier, that vinyl hasn't come out yet, but I have listened to that one because
well, here's the news, buddy. So have I.
You listened to Four Stroke Baron.
Hey, let's dive the fuck in, shall we? To the new Four Stroke.
This is for Kirk and Matt. Hopefully you guys are watching. So I interviewed the two dudes from Four Stroke Baron.
Hi, Kurt and Matt. I would just like to apologize in advance.
No, you don't understand. During the interview, they seemed so excited to talk about your review of their album more so than mine.
and this is utterly bizarre. For those of you that don't know what's going on, Four Stroke Baron's last album, we reviewed it. I did my usual sort of pontificating about it and sort of kind of hammered it really. I was then made to feel quite bad because they used that clip of the video on their social media, which they seem to find quite entertaining, which I love. I think any band with a sense of humor, got a sense of humor about their own art is they're my kind of people. But yeah, you big fan getting totally ignored.
Well, I did get to interview them and they were really cool, but they are the kind of people that would latch onto a funny negative review as opposed to a glowing one from me. I mean, they appreciate both, I'm sure, but they're more ready for you to rip apart their new album, which is called Data Diamond, which doesn't come out till May 31st, but we're important people and we hear stuff early, and so Howard heard. I really thought that you weren't going to listen to it and we would just move on with our lives, but now
you sent that. Sorry to cut across you there. After 10 years of doing this shit, I still haven't learned to like wait until somebody's finished speaking to start speaking. But that's the ADHD.
It's because you're so excited to talk about this album. That's what it is.
Well, you sent that message saying, I've sent you the new Four Stroke Baron album, and I was like, awesome. You're like, it'd be great if we could talk about this. It'd be great if you could get a listen to this. And I was like, yeah, probably not going to get to. And then you sent another message saying that they really wanted to hear what I thought of it, which I don't think they do. I really don't. But
literally just go to my interview with them and skip to the end, and I mention it, and you see them light up. They are so ready to hear you talk about this album.
Oh, brilliant. Love you guys. So yeah, I kind of felt A, you'd sent it to me. B, I knew it was a pre-release, and when you said that, I was kind of like, do you know what? I've got to listen to this. And I have. Well, why don't you go first?
I think it's fucking amazing. I don't know if I like it better than the last album, which is called Classics, but this one's definitely a grower, and it has, to me, some of their most batshit crazy music that they've made so far. But at the same time, it feels a little bit more focused. So it's like if any album was going to like grab people, I guess it would be this one. But they really do veer from incredibly catchy, memorable parts to shit that like you have no fucking clue what the hell's going on. And it's all done amazingly well. I mean, nobody needs to know what I think because it's literally like bizarre prog metal done by people who don't really like prog or metal. Now that I've talked to them, they like a lot of different stuff, but their approach to music is not normal, and so, but the one thing that they do agree on is they want the songs to always have a catchy part in them, and that's about it. But it just comes out as this weird, heavy, proggy, bizarre, uncategorizable kind of. It's beautiful. I love it. I think the album is incredible, and it gets better every time I listen to it. Which at this point is only 3 times, but now I'm putting it on hold, waiting for that vinyl. So. Your turn now. Your turn now.
Well, after previous experience, I felt bad. So I went back and listened to the previous album, Classics (brackets anything but), and I thought, no, do you know what? I think I was kind of right first time. Not right, not like there's a right or the wrong, but I kind of hadn't changed my opinion on it. I didn't. I couldn't like it. Right. So the new album, Data Diamond, starts off with, let's have a look, because I've actually got it up here. Well, it starts off with 2 minutes and 55 seconds of not a lot, in my humble opinion. So
intro,
lose
as
that.
they say. Yeah.
We stick that in the bin. That can go. Straight on to track 2. Monday. I mean, I brave choice for a song title for the first real song on your album, Monday. Straight away, I was reminded of a couple of things about the previous album, and funnily enough, just picking up on something you said there, where the one thing all of the band agree on is that a song should have a catchy part, and they've done that. But funnily enough, the rest of the song sounds like they don't agree.
Yeah.
The rest of the song sounds like they don't agree on anything. It's like, where's this going? I have no idea. Let's do this. All right, now let's do this. And it a free-form musical argument of an album. It's now, Monday gave me all of those feelings about the previous album. The one thing that I do get on this album is it was running around in my head like a fucking rat, trying to find what it is about the vocals. What is it that there's something, and it's Tears for Fears.
Yeah. That was the first thing I brought up when I originally heard the band, is I thought he sounded like Roland Orzabal from Tears for Fears. Yeah.
Yes, and it was the old Tears for Fears vocals that brought me back. It was like that kind of like, whoa, all right, mate, how's it going? I was like, oh right, okay, I remember this now. Track 3, The Witch. That is when I went, oh hello, that's the single, right? That's got to be the single.
It is.
Someone at the label is going, give me a single. Guys, I can't release any of this. I can't release any of these songs, and you can't afford a video that's that fucking long. Can you please give us a song that is like not 6 minutes and yes, has the catchy bit you all agree on, but has it more than once after the 3rd, 4th minute? And this is that song for the label. Yeah. This is that. Not that they wrote it for the label, not decrying that at all. I'm not saying that was the case, but at some point when putting this song together, they've gone like, hey guys, Jesus, what happened here? This is like we've written a normal song. And it's almost like they... It's almost like if they wrote this album...
pie of the album.
Yes, yeah. If they wrote this album in the order in the order that the tracks appear, it's almost like they wrote this and went, right, okay, that's the one normal song out the way. I'm glad we got it out the way because now we can just go off and do our own batshit crazy thing. And that really describes a lot of the album, batshit crazy. For me, then Cyborg Part 3. I missed Cyborg Part 1 and 2. Are they on different albums?
Yeah. Part 2 is on classics.
Right. Okay. I like that. And I was like, yeah, cool. There's some cool proggy shit in this. And cool proggy shit and just complete fucking weirdness that I cannot get my head around. Sometimes there are parts, if you're watching Four Stroke Baron Boys, there are parts where I just think, this is fucking immense. This is absolutely, they're holding down some crazy rhythm, pounding it out. Sounds great. Production's absolutely kicking my head in. Vocals are awesome. It's like, wow, brilliant. For about 5 seconds. And then it's off we go again. Hey, I've got, and genuinely, there was a point when I was listening to this album, I was like, has one of the members got a box of effects for Christmas? And they're just gone like, hey guys, I'm going to use this on every, okay. But you watch this will make sound like the whole band stops and we all fall down a well, but the drums keep going and then we all climb back out the well again. But the drums are fucked off into the background. Some of the weirdest vocal effects I've had. Now, that is one thing that's consistent with the previous album. Some of the weirdest effects on vocals, speaking as a vocalist, some of the weird, some of those effects, I'm like, Christ, did he let them do this? Or did they pin him down whilst somebody else put these effects on? It was like, no, what's the point of me singing if you do that?
So this is all, they recorded this. This is all them.
Oh, yeah, I have absolutely no doubt. It's just that as a vocalist, it's like I'm listening to it and it was like, I think at one point on one of the tracks, the vocals are like slow down, and I'm just like, well, good luck doing that live, mate. I mean, that's if you're ever going to play any of this live, which I would love to see. Because
they're coming through London. They told me.
What?
Yeah, they're on their first tour for this album is a European tour. And I don't remember what date they said, but they are coming through London. Hit them up on like Instagram or whatever. I bet you they will hook you up. I don't want to throw that out there, but I bet you
don't want to speak for your best friends.
I think they're your best friends at this point.
Yeah. No, it's well, yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, we'd love to meet you. Yeah, I get around there and they just like beat the shit out of me. Rightly so. But anyway, look, I haven't finished, right? I haven't finished.
Yeah, keep going.
So we get is it Volt or Valt? I'm not sure how that's pronounced, but it's 1 minute and 30 seconds of absolute bollocks, nothingness, sound effects and shit. But then for me, it was like it's a long time since I've got a turntable. I get the odd thing on vinyl, but not much. I'm quite opposite to you. But then it felt like, oh right, this is the meat of the album. 6, 7, 8, and 9. So that's Open the World, People in My Image, 1,000 Threads, and Data Diamond. And each one of those songs, it's 5 minutes 8, 5 minutes 22, 5 minutes 2, 7 minutes 15. No fucking around, no singles, no shorter songs, no intros, no nothing. And I felt like the album was reborn at that point for me. Up to that point, I'd been a bit like, oh, great, this is everything I hated about the last one. Brilliant.
Yeah.
But then I was kind of like, ooh, there's a lot of music, and this is something that is undeniable. There is so much music and effort and craft and talent going on in this band. Just because I maybe don't get most of it doesn't mean it's not there. You know what I mean? It's like chatting to somebody recently and they said that Rammstein was shit. And I was like, look, any band who can announce a fucking stadium show in any country in the world and it sells out in half an hour and they sing in fucking German, right? Objectively, they cannot be shit. That's just it. You don't like them? Absolutely fine. But they cannot be shit.
On the other side of that argument, there's plenty of shitty American artists that do world tours and play in countries that don't speak English primarily.
Yes, but they're singing in English. German is the ugliest language on the face of the planet. I went out with a girl called Judith. What's Judith? I went out with a girl called Judith who was German. What's Judith in German? Judith. Like a fucking it's like an accusation instead of a name. I mean, it's unbelievable. And then people go, oh, but they're only a good live band. Really? People are just turning up to see them? What? Not for the songs? That's going to be the first live band ever that people go to see.
They're showing up they're showing up for the backstage orgy after the show.
Well, I know that's why I went. But anyway, back to four-stroke Baron.
Yes.
So the point being is that it's the same thing for me. It's like you cannot deny the dedication to the craft, and also the vision. You know, they have a vision for what they want to do, and I have to say, to an extent, it is visionary what they are doing. For me personally, sometimes it just gets in the way, and it's a bit art for art's sake, and it just from, you know, as a vocalist and a musician, admittedly 54 years old, so, you know, clearly older than these guys. At times, I just feel like it's like, God, if you could only get out of your own way, you know, there's better things to be done here. Yeah. But at that point, I start sounding like somebody who works for a record label, saying, "Oh, if you could just simplify this and blah, you know, break it down and make it more consumable, you could sell more records. You could, you know, you'd be huge." And clearly, that's not what these guys want. It's not what I want either. If truth to be told, if the next album had all of this stuff I'm struggling with taken out of it, and you went, "Oh, check this out," you know, I'd probably be like, "Oh, Jesus Christ, this is terrible." Do you know what I mean? Where's all the personality? Where's all you know? Where's all that gone? Where's the stuff I don't like gone? Turns out I did like it. You know, but that. So for me, to recap, those 4 tracks at the end, by it finished, I was kind of like, right, okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning again, and it's almost like, you know, the first time you watch a movie and you don't know what it's about, you got no idea. You watch it and it finishes, and you go, I really enjoyed that, I think, but now I know what it's about. I'm going to watch it again, and I'll probably enjoy it more knowing what it's about, because I spent so long trying to figure out what it's about at the time, because it was quite difficult and not giving me any clues. Yeah. And it's like that. It's like that movie is an album. It's like, now I know what it's about. Now I know that I've got like 4 tracks at the end that for me, the album is building towards. That for me now means that I can go back to the beginning of this movie, do away with the trailer at the beginning, and just dive straight in. And yeah, I mean, basically what I'm saying is, it's going to require a lot of effort on my part to get it, to really get this, but I'm minded to try. Sorry boys, you've made something I like more than your last album. I mean, don't get me wrong. There are parts where I found it, you know, just crushingly annoying. But there's, unlike the last album, which I listened to once, and I was just like, yeah, if I listen to that again, my teeth are going to fall out. Whereas this album, which I did feel like that in parts, but by the time I got to the end, I was like, that movie thing. I was kind of like, right, okay, I need to listen to this again to decide how much I like it, or whether I like it, or whether I don't like it. At the moment, I'm coming down on the side of I like it, I don't know how much.
Yeah.
And I'm also it's probably going to end up being maybe a 5 or 6 track album for me. I might have to weed some stuff out, but all in
Yeah.
all, I stand by what I said earlier. You can't deny the vision. And one thing I always bang on about on this podcast, on my own podcast, I'm always going on about how important originality is.
Mm-hmm.
And this is, to me, you hear Four Stroke Baron and you are not going to hear anything like it anywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
For a start, the vocals are so idiosyncratic and so different and so bold. And so are some of the choices, which I completely disagree with and don't like, but they are bold and they commit. And when they go, they go.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's like swing for the fences or go home. And these guys are swinging for the fucking clouds, never mind the fences. And that has to be admired. And originality is key, because without originality, we just keep repeating ourselves. And so it's to be admired. And I don't know, like, thumbs up, thumbs down, how many out of 5? I haven't got a fucking clue.
Yeah.
Stay tuned. I'll see you next month.
All right. So we've determined that Four Stroke Baron's album Data Diamond is the Fight Club of albums.
Like, I see where you're coming from there.
You watch it one time and you don't know what it's about. You got to go watch it again to get all the. Because I'm here to tell you that some of this. The first time I listened to the album, I thought that they maybe had gone a little too far in some of the places and gotten too, to use your term, up their own asses. But then I came back and hearing the songs again, the parts that you think aren't the catchy parts, those all of a sudden become catchy parts. And so that's why, like, I'm thinking that I'm going to end up liking it more than their other stuff, because it does have that quality of discovering it each time you listen to it.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I completely agree. You know, well, it's the same thing that we always say, isn't it? Any album that you don't get into immediately, but you think, I'm kind of curious. When you dig deeper, and that's the one you're still playing in 6 months' time. And the one that you put on and go, oh my God, this is great, I like it. That's the one that, like, 6 weeks down the road, you're like, oh, why haven't I played that recently? That's because there was no depth to it.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know.
Well put.
Cool.
That was
Four
awesome.
Stroke Baron.
And I realized this entire time I didn't have my microphone plugged in. Is my sound shitty over there, or is it fine? You're freezing. Don't do that. Did you actually freeze?
He's pulled a cable out somewhere. Oh, he's back. There we go.
That's so weird. That is so bizarre. I was explaining to you that I had forgotten to plug my mic in, and I was asking if the sound was shit or not.
Well, basically, I've just done a whole commentary because it froze as soon as you leant forward.
Oh, that's weird. I mean, I'm all plugged up here. I don't know what the fuck that was. Anyway. Okay.
Yeah. Well, anyway, that'll be some interesting. There'll be some interesting editing to listen back to that.
Yeah.
So yeah, chuck me the files as usual, and I'll be interested to see if like what you said while you were talking, if that was recording or not, or it's just
it will be recorded. I just didn't know how it sounded on your end, because that's what you're going to hear, how it sounds on your end, essentially. But
no,
sorry,
I mean the bit when you leant forward and it froze. It'll be interesting to see if that actually recorded or not.
I thought that you were pretending to freeze, and I was like, man, he's really good at this. But
no, not at all. You froze on my
okay.
end.
This
is great. This is a great podcast. I hope you're enjoying listening to this.
Let's
talk about vagaries of a fucking Zoom you're not watching. Sorry.
Yeah, this is what everybody really tunes in for anyway.
True. So, see, two people make such a fucking mess of it that they're encouraged to do their own podcast.
This could be you, folks. I'm gonna do like a really quick review of an album.
Okay, cool.
That I feel, I do those albums sometimes where I know people are gonna ask, like, what do you think of this? And I can be like, all right, I talked about it for a minute. And it's even more interesting because I've gotten really into this band. It's the new Judas Priest album, Invincible Shield. Have you heard it? Have you heard Invincible Shield?
I'm not minded to be honest. I mean,
never
really been a fan.
Yeah. So that's the thing, is that I got really into their 80s output, and then I went back and I've gotten into the 70s output, so much so that I'm listening to like their discography like the third time in a row. Like I've got them on vinyl now, and I'm just enjoying the fuck out of myself now. But my interest stops at after Painkiller in 1990. So not that I don't like any of that stuff. There's good stuff on the albums, but they they became a band that used to be a band that did all these different kinds of songs, and some of them were metal, to all of a sudden being a band that they just do all kinds of metal songs now, because they're a proper metal band now. And that's kind of boring to me, even though I still love hearing Rob Halford sing, and the band are tight as fuck. So this album is just more of that. It sounds good. It's Andy Sneap. I mean, it sounds good. But it got kind of boring about halfway through, but not bad. Just like these all sound like songs that I could have typed into AI and say, write me a Judas Priest song, and these are the songs that would have come out. So,
yeah,
but very well done. Performances, everything. Rob still sounds amazing. But yeah, overall, it's like, it's weird that I'm so into Judas Priest now, but not this. Like, I can't see myself going back to listen to it, even though I could not possibly say that it was bad. It's just whatever.
Yeah.
So that's kind of all I have to say about it. That's all. But I do have to say though that, like, I feel like Andy Sneap does a whole lot of albums that I want to hear, and I just get to hear his production style just get better and better and better. Like that dude, like, he always made great sounding albums for a long time, but this one to me sounds incredible. So good on him.
I will pass on your appreciation.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, that's my short Judas Priest review.
Well, as soon as we get done here, I'm going to send him a WhatsApp saying, check this out when it comes out. This dude loves you.
Yeah. I mean, his old band was great too. But
oh, what you going to ruin it and say that for?
No, they're not as good as Acid Rain.
Yeah, no. I know the band you meant now. So okay, well, not something I've listened to or going to listen to, I'd imagine. And I would say, well, it'd be interesting to see. I should have probably sent you this to listen to. And this is an album that was sent to me by the label, or by the PR for the label. And it's a band called Supermodel Taxidermy. And the album is called At What Cost.
See, now we're on the other end here, where you're mentioning a band and I'm like, who the fuck?
Yeah. I mean, what a great name.
Yeah.
Supermodel Taxidermy. And the album At What Cost. And then and straight away when I got the blurb with the album, it said, like, old school kind of hardcore. I looked down the tracks. I looked down the track listing, and there was a cover of Subliminal, the Suicidal song, and I was like, this is ticking all my boxes. Only 10 tracks, less than half an hour, and unfortunately, it didn't do it for me. But
damn.
Unlike normally, when I would, if I don't like something, I'll go all in. Mm-hmm. As four-stroke Baron know only too well. But with this, it's kind of like, look, I don't get it. I think it's heavily derivative of hardcore that was around 20 years ago. Your agnostic fronts, your suicidal tendencies, your Crumbsuckers, and all the rest of it.
Yeah.
And I know Suicidals are still around, but I'm talking about the band that was back then. And and so to me, it's a bit tributey. It's a bit, I can see it coming. It's a bit Janet and John, 1, 2, 3, and what's next? It's 4. That's right. And yeah, but by the same token, I can imagine kids a lot younger than me listening to this and going, like, wow, this is fucking amazing. This is great. And then getting the album, and no doubt the band will thank all these different bands, and it's basically what I'm saying is this is a doorway to a lot of hardcore bands from the 80s and 90s that people will not check out until they hear this and want to know what influenced these guys to do this, because there's not a lot of stuff like this around. So I was gutted that I didn't like it more. You know, it was a 10 out of 10 until I listened to it.
Yeah.
And at that point I was like, damn, it doesn't work for me. It's not, but I could see where they're coming from. And I could see what they were trying to do. And anybody who tries to cover cover a suicidal track, especially Subliminal or something like that, that is a tough ask, because that means you've got to try and recreate Mike Muir. And Mike Muir doesn't sing so much in tune as he just has his thing, and it works because he's Mike Muir. And if you try and do Mike Muir's thing, guess what? It's going to sound shit. Why? You're not Mike Muir.
Yeah.
And dude does his best on this. He does his best on it, and it's bold, but it doesn't quite work for me. But again, it's a nod to where they're coming from. That's where they're coming from. They're coming from those early years of hardcore. That's clearly the stuff they love, and that's what they want to play. And I kind of think, do you know what? Fair fucks to them. You know, they could just all get together and have decided to be Supermodel Taxidermy, cover great tracks from back in that era, and just be a covers band. No, they're going out and they're creating their own original music, derivative as it is. It's original. So I'm actually being really upbeat about an album I'm not great. And I would encourage people, if you recognize any of the bands I mentioned, the era of music, of hardcore, and if you're into any of that shit, you know, Biohazard to Agnostic Front, then it's worth checking out Supermodel Taxidermy, new album, At What Cost? And let us know what you think.
Do you know if it's their first? Is this their first album?
I don't think it is.
Okay.
I don't think it is. I think it's their second album. Is that what's known over your side of the pond as a sophomore album?
A sophomore, yeah.
Which
I've never understood.
We call it second album.
Yeah.
Right. Second comes right after first.
Yep. Yeah, we're over here just making things more complicated than they need to be. Let's have a fucking longer word, because we don't need we don't want to just say second.
Well, let's face it, we're just coming out of fall. Not really. Anyway, over to you, sir. What's next for you?
This is a really great segue, because I am going to talk about an album from a new band that is 25 minutes, 10 songs, no filler. This is a band from your neck of the woods, from London, England.
Bloody hell! You are.
They are
educating
called
me.
Wasted Death. Wasted Death. This is their first album, and
Cool,
it's called
cover.
It's called Season of Evil. And
This makes a great podcast for all you listeners. The artwork is really fucking cool.
Yeah.
Well, that is cool.
So they're a 3-piece band, and I think that some of them are in other bands that I don't, or have been in other bands that I don't know very well. I think one of them is in a band called USA Nails, and I don't know them, but they themselves are a newer band, and it is punk influenced metal that has also a little bit of sludginess, a little bit of grind in there, but it is an absolute rager of an album for 25 minutes. And I'm not just talking fast. Whatever it is they decide to do, there are some breakdowns, there are some slower parts, there's some faster parts, and vocally it's all very aggressive, but it's not just one note aggressive vocals. But it is highly entertaining for 25 minutes. It's one of the best when it comes to just aggressive stuff. It's one of the best albums I've heard this year of a band. Balls out. Production's good too, because it doesn't sound like overproduced, but it also sounds really good. It's just so much fun. That's the best thing I can say about it, is that if you, all of those words, the punk, metal, sludge, grind, you throw all that together and you put the word fun on top of it, that is exactly what it is. So I highly recommend Wasted Death. They even have the last track on the album is called Wasted Death by Wasted Death, if that gives you any idea of the fun.
So yeah, they ain't fucking around.
Not at all, not at all. But it is an absolute blast, and I just love it. Like, this is the thing I could say about the Judas Priest album, is that the Judas Priest album, why not make an album that's 8 tracks long and you're just like, hey, that was fun, let's listen to it again. But theirs is like 11, or depending on what you get, the 15 tracks. So, and I know that, like, you know, sometimes you hate when albums are like super short, but for this kind of thing, like literally 25 minutes is exactly all that it needs to be, but just enough to be all like, that was fun, let's do that again. I mean, I can't praise this one enough out of all the ones I'm talking about today. Wasted Death, Season of Evil. I even fucking ordered it and paid shipping from England. That's how much I was excited about this album. So,
dude, I wish you'd have said I'd have climbed into the package and arrived on your doorstep.
That would have been a little bit more shipping cost. But,
true,
you know.
True. Well, firstly, I don't know where you got the impression that that I don't like short albums. You know, Rain and Blood being possibly my favorite album of all time.
There were some albums that we were talking about that you hated the fact that it was so short. What were we talking about?
I might have hated it was short because I was enjoying it so much. I wish it had been longer.
Could be, yeah.
But well, that sounds cool, and I am gonna check that out, and I'm gonna do I'm gonna do a really, really quick review. Okay. Reason being, I've only listened to this album once. And it was today, and it was sent to me, and it had all the hallmarks of something I wouldn't like. And but I always check out everything that's sent to me by every label, because you never know what it is going to be, what it's going to be like. Yeah. So I got sent it, and I clicked on it, went to the link, and it went to their album, and I saw a picture of them all, and I said out loud to nobody in particular, "Oh dear," because of how they looked, and it was pretty much metal as fuck. It couldn't have been more metal. Lots of black leather, lots of and the band is called Hellbutcher, and the album is called Hellbutcher, and it's described as Swedish. Now, how they are, because they are from Sweden, so it would be, you know, Sweden, and it's described as black metal. And I thought, well, I don't really like black metal. Mm-hmm. I don't like the look of these chaps, but I'll give it a whirl. And all I can say is, fucking hell. If you like...
Fucking Hellbutcher.
If you... Oh, good. See what you did there. If you like Pleasure to Kill, Terrible Certainty era Creator, just get the fucking album. Don't even listen to a track on YouTube. Just fucking get it. Black metal, my ass. Honestly, I have not heard Creator have not been this good for fucking years, right? Hellbutcher is just a trip back in time to when Creator were Creator, as opposed to what Creator have developed into. If you fell in love with Creator when I did, you're going to hear this and go, what the fuck? Yeah. Has some old Creator demos been like polished up to sound really modern and kick total ass? Because that's honestly, and normally, you know, I would be saying, oh, yeah, fucking hell, guys, you know, you got to have more, talk about a one-trick pony. No. Oh, well, yeah. They are a one-trick pony. But Jesus Christ, I want to ride this pony all around the fucking place. Oh, absolutely brilliant. This is a buckaroo of an album. You know, honestly, it's just...
Fuck, man. Yeah. Put that on the hype sticker. This is a buckaroo of an album. Hellbutcher.
Yeah, absolutely. Every song you think this is the song that's going to kick me off the album. No. Yeah. It's like you just keep piling them on. Honestly, it was like about straight away. It was quite arresting. I was like, hang on a minute. This is not what I expected.
Yeah.
And then after about 3 or 4 tracks, I was like, after the shock, and I was like sort of tuning into it, I was like, this is really good. And then they do something that doesn't sound like Creator now or then. And I'd be like, well, great. Like I'm in on this as well, you know? And then it'd be,
Nice.
oh no, we're back to Creator again. Brilliant. You know, just, yeah. Hellbutcher by Hellbutcher.
So was there anything on there that sounded black metal-ish at least?
Well, I'm sure it all sounds black metalish to people who are banging to their black metal, but I'm not. So
Okay.
it comes out on the 31st of May on Metal Blade. Hellbutcher by
It's a
Hellbutcher.
Metal Blade band. Okay.
Yeah, exactly. And you know what that means, don't you? If they're on Metal Blade now, they'll be on Metal Blade until they split up.
Yeah.
Bands don't leave Metal Blade, they just sign a new deal with Metal Blade. And, you know, that's just cool as hell. But yeah, insane. Absolutely insanely brilliant. You know, if this is black metal, then I'm going to be getting into a lot more black metal because
I was thinking to myself, I wonder if they mean black metal like the Venom album.
Yeah, exactly. You know? You would think that there's a chance of that, but no. I'm going to do it again. Hellbutcher by Hellbutcher, 31st of May, black on Metal Blade. Check it out if you like Creator from back in the day. Actually, if you like Creator from back in the day, but with like a shitload of other stuff thrown in. But the best thing is that it sounds like awesomely like Creator.
Nice. I got tickets to go see Creator and Testament in October. When are they coming through here? They're coming through here. But I'm excited to see Creator, even though I'm with you. I enjoy their early stuff way more than the newer stuff. But I have a feeling live it's going to be quite a blast. So
yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. They've you know, new Creator is not. You know, is not bad by any stretch of the imagination. I just think maybe the last album and maybe the album before, just the last two albums have been just a bit too similar for me.
Yep. I agree with that. But okay. Well, that's great, man. I'm gonna move into a couple. I have two more left that are both bands that you're not gonna know. Right. This first one comes out. This is the one that I already have the vinyl, but it doesn't come out till this Friday, May 17th, which by the time this episode's out, it'll probably already be out. But you get to laugh at me mispronouncing a band name because I don't know exactly how to pronounce it. Hopefully, like somebody from the band will see this and they can just send me a voice message that just phonetically says the name. They're called Tzompantli. I don't know.
How's it spelled?
Tzompantli. Tzompantli.
I mean, but look, if that's your band name, you've just got to accept right out the gate that the fact you've gone with that as a band name means that people are going to mispronounce it.
Well, yeah,
all the time.
But the album is called "Beating the Drums of Ancestral Force," and it's an interesting album to kind of
with
describe.
Ancestral Force or
of what did I say? Beating the drums of Ancestral Force. What did I say?
Right. No, it's just that means that there is such a thing as a drum of Ancestral Force and it's been beaten, as opposed to beating a drum with Ancestral Force, which would actually make sense. That just completely doesn't, unless there is a drum of Ancestral Force somewhere.
Could be.
So I'm unaware of.
So the best way, so describing this is difficult. It is technically doom death. It's very slow, very heavy, but it's also there's an indigenous Mexican aspect to the whole thing. Not only with some different instrumentation, but also I guess traditional little vocal elements that are very much not death metal or doom at all. And some of the lyrics are some of them are in English and some are in, I'm guessing, a form of Spanish that maybe goes back to more of a Mexican ancestral thing, which is interesting because, my wife and half my family are Mexican, but I don't know a whole lot of history about when you go far back, where they came from and everything. But it's kind of like, it doesn't throw all the fucking tribal drums and shit the way like maybe a Sepultura would have done, which I love what they did. It's more sort of subtle, because the only thing you're really gonna, the big takeaway from this album is it is so fucking heavy. Like it just sounds crushing, and all the riffs are crushing, and it just has a fucking huge sound to it. But it's got such a unique vibe, along with all of that. And there's core members of the band, which I think is already maybe like 8 people that are in the band, but there's like other people, additional musicians that are on this as well. And it's just a fascinating but very heavy album. And cool. It's their second album. So Tzompantli, I think.
Well, I tell you what, for what it's worth, my extent of historical knowledge of Mexico is that I've watched Dusk Till Dawn at least 10 times. And other than that,
when did they form the titty twister?
Absolutely. And how did anybody not notice that canyon with loads of lorries and dead bodies in it? You know, until they made that movie right on the edge of it. Weird.
Yeah. That one comes out May 17th, and but I feel like I'm going to say the same things over and over again. It's an album that if any of those things sound pleasing, go check it out, because it is a heavy motherfucker. So
that is a bit of a thing that we kind of do, don't we? It's become a traditional sign off on here when you finish reviewing it, just going, look, if any of the names or things I've said sound like the kind of thing that you like, go and fucking listen to it, make your own mind up.
Which is why
just what I think to it.
That's why I'm so bad at reviews. And I've been, like, years and years ago, I used to actually write reviews, and I hated the formality of it all, because I wanted to just say, look, thrashy, doomy, whatever, you like that shit, go listen to it. But you can't put that in a printed review, because people will be like, you're fired.
Yeah, absolutely. So, okay, well, I'm going to come at you with, do you know what, an EP, and this is basically the kind of thing that you would normally review, because it's not that heavy.
All right,
it has kind of pop elements, but it also has some cool riffs, massive choruses, female bass player. I mean, it's all the hallmarks of something you should be reviewing and telling me about.
I'm all in all of this.
And then I'll go, I'll listen at the end and I'll go, yeah, I'm not fucking listening to that. Sounds terrible. But instead, it's Role Reversal time. And it's an EP by a band called Unpeople. And the EP is called Unpeople.
Oh.
And all I can say is that it's, well, everything that I just kind of said. It's very difficult to try and describe it other than what I've said. It's got elements of pop. There's 5 tracks on it. There isn't a song. Well, there's one song over 4 minutes. The rest all come in, 3.5 minutes around that time. And the label who sent it to me, there was no information with it. Nothing about anybody in the band or anything like that. Went for a video, found it, and apparently they're getting lauded as the next big thing by quite a lot of people. And I was kind of like, a bit disappointed. Yeah, a bit disappointed now. I thought I'd discovered this Unpeople band who nobody knows anything by. And
okay, well, and on our show you did, because I've
weirdly,
never heard of them.
it's on a label imprint under Nuclear Blast. It's on one of their imprints. They're a UK band as well. I would never have picked that. I would have thought they were a US band. I hope you're making notes here, because this is the kind of thing that you should go and listen to.
It sounds, but the thing is, all of those things you said could be something that I would absolutely love or absolutely hate. It could Same be here. Either way. So, but I like I even like the name. I like Unpeople. It's kind of cool. So I'm like, that's definitely something I would check out.
Well, good luck finding any artwork for the EP, because there still isn't any on the website, on the label site. So I don't know if there is any fucking artwork for it at all or what. But
is it already out, or it's not out yet?
Good question. Don't know. There you go.
So, you know what? I'm good at this. I'm good at this kind of shit. I bet you, the people who are at home actually watching this, I bet you there's an album cover already down there, ready to go.
And a release date, or it's already out now, folks. Bullshit. And yeah, look, check out that bollocks on below. Yeah. And for those of you listening on the podcast, you fucked. Go and watch the video. So yeah, or alternatively, use any search engine you like, and put people into it and find out if it's out and if you like it. But the opening track, which I think the video of is on, I think, Jesus, I should know this shit, shouldn't I? Although, I think it's the opening track, which is called Waste. I think that's, just took me by surprise. Really, really took me by surprise. And I kind of like it. So there you go. EP, Unpeople by Unpeople. I only have one thing left. Over to you.
I only have one thing left too, and we're keeping shit super fucking heavy here.
We certainly are.
This is actually my second album in a row from the label $20 Spin, who they're a cool label, mostly just because their actual products are always very well done. But they do have bands that I'm kind of about, but they do have a good number of them that I'm very excited about. So this is a band called Terminal Nation. Terminal Nation. This is their second album, and it's called.
Okay, big fans of the Jump in the Fire EP by Metallica. Clearly, looking at the artwork.
So
that's the next level. It's basically it's Star Wars meets Lord of the Rings.
Oh yeah,
Balrog meets Jump in the Fire.
He's gonna stab the demon in the dick.
There you go.
Sword.
Thou shalt not pass.
So it's called Echoes of the Devil's Den, and
echoes of the Devil's Dick.
Yeah. Yes. That's it.
Echoes of the Devil's Den.
Yeah, and this is the artwork. Honestly, doesn't really give you the vibe of the album. Although I think the artwork's great. I love this kind of painted artwork like that. But
for those of you listening on the podcast, it's old school metal bollocks artwork.
Yes, and so they are a band that I guess would probably be categorized as death metal, but they have that newer kind of vibe going where there's a hardcore element to it, and so it's got like breakdowns and stuff like that in it. So it's got those elements, but it's also got riffs that sound like death metal riffs, very aggressive vocals, very aggressive music. But in this band, they've been on my radar already. I like their last album a lot, but they've managed to do what I love, which they expanded their sound now, where the songs are a little more complicated. But on top of that, they've started adding like melodic guitar parts that don't sound out of place at all. They kind of give them another little vibe of a different kind of heavy vibe, along with the regular riffs. There's these melodies, but it is just crushing heavy riff after heavy riff. If you're into that, like, the newer hardcore sound. When I say hardcore, obviously I'm not referring to old Suicidal Tendencies. I'm referring to more modern stuff, like your Knocked Loose kind of thing. Did I freeze again? Because you froze a little bit.
Oh my God, I will fucking hate this. I can say that straight out.
But I don't like Knocked Loose. I'm just kind of throwing that vibe out there because that's
Code Orange. How are you with Code Orange?
I like some Code Orange, yes.
Yeah, but it's Code Red for me.
This is heavier, and I don't know. It's a really solid and great heavy death hardcore album that is just, it's a pummeling piece of work, if you will.
I'm going to take a wild guess, right? Because you described the vocals as very aggressive. Now, I'm going to take a wild guess that, like, who's that? I'm trying to think of the name of the hardcore band. Is it Born to Serve? Is that the one? They're a hardcore band, kind of big. Or no, that not ringing any bells. Come on, fucking help me out here.
Nope, it could be a band. I don't listen to a lot of hardcore actually, because most of the time I'm not really into it.
Yeah, it's just that the big problem I have is that the vocals just sound the same on every song.
No,
That's my irritation with that kind of thing.
no, his vocal approach is it almost feels very emotional because he kind of goes with the vibe of the song. So there are some straight up just shouting vocals, but there are levels to it. It's not, and it's also not death metal vocals. It's more on the hardcore side of things, but it's definitely not one note kind of vocals. It feels
Right, yeah.
very appropriate for the part of the song.
Yeah.
But
Sounds good, man.
there's no singing though. But
Yeah,
so I
yeah,
guess
well, it doesn't have to be. It doesn't have to be. By the sounds of it, singing would sound out of place anyway.
yeah, but no, it's a really enjoyable if you just want to get punched in the face repeatedly and it be done by people who are really good at what they do. Then yeah, Terminal Nation.
Cool. Cool. Well,
That's it for me.
well, for me, it is now an early contender for album of the year, and
Oh shit!
almost certainly will be in my top albums of the year. Um, it's not Four Stroke Baron. It is, in fact, the new album after all these years from Daath called The Deceivers.
This is interesting.
Um,
Okay.
Now, everything, it's basically there's everything that I always bang on about. There's vision, there's originality. There's three great guitarists from other bands who are invited in to play solos, who play fucking incredible solos that just fit the songs beautifully. There
Mhm.
is structure, there is melody, there is strings, there's orchestration all over the place. There is it's just as I said to I'll Levy, the man behind the band, it's just gorgeous metal confusion. It's just like, you'll hear a riff and you're like, oh man, what a riff. And then a drum beat comes in that absolutely throws you, and you're like, oh, right, okay, just let me get with that for a minute. Okay, got you now.
Mhm.
Um, you know, I've liked Daath since their very first album,
Mhm.
and I think nobody does what they do. So underrated, so underrated. They're almost too good to be as popular as they should be.
Yeah.
It's that kind of thing. They're
Yep.
one of those bands where the whole world of like extreme metal, whether it's black metal, death metal, whatever it is, there'll be bands from all those genres going, oh my God, there's a new Death album out. Oh my God, we gotta go and get that. We've got to see what the next thing is. We've got to see how far have they taken it, what have they done. And I just think it's fucking brilliant. I knew it would be because they don't do stuff. It just like not brilliant is not in their lexicon. Um, it is just incredibly ferocious at times. It's heavy as fuck. It's brutal as fuck. There's just so much to love about it. Even if you're just into like bog standard sort of metal and thrash or whatever, it's worth putting your ear to a couple of these songs because it's Daath. It's different. To some
Mhm.
people, it won't sound different. That's because you're not listening hard enough. If you listen to the subtleties of what's going on, like you could listen to one of their singles and go like, "Oh, I don't see how this is different." It's like, well, why don't you listen a bit harder? Have you noticed that the verse that the singer is singing on is also orchestrated? There's a fucking orchestra going on that immensely heavy fucking backdrop that he's singing in. It's just, yeah, I just think it's a level of musicianship, of concept, of artistry and talent and vision that most bands can only dream of. It is, in short, nothing short of fucking brilliant, and I love it.
Sweet. Has it come out yet? Has this one come out?
Yeah. Oh, it's out and in your
So
face now, listeners.
so that
Um,
this is interesting because you probably don't know this, but so 4 years ago, yeah, going over 4 years ago, they were also featured on Bands You Should Know, my series of videos that I did. I
dude,
also did Acid Rain. Um,
indeed.
and I was actually quite looking forward to this album because I am such a fan of everything that they've done. but I haven't
Okay,
gone to.
just a little warning here, everybody. Old Head is about to be wrong.
No. I mean, I'm not going to be wrong. I haven't heard the full album yet, but
Oh, right.
but the reason I haven't gone to listen to it yet is because there's something about the first couple tracks they released that I thought they were good, but they didn't make me very excited. Like, to be fair, my favorite album by them, is it called The Concealers? I think that's the one that like I fucking love. And then they did one that was like a self-titled after that, and that one they lost some of their momentum for me a little bit.
Yeah, I agree. I totally agree with you there. But the one thing I would also say about Daath is that if you're already into them, then the singles are probably not the things that are gonna get you excited.
Good to know.
The singles are the most palatable things to put out there for people who maybe don't like Daath to go, oh, I'll check that band out. If you're into Daath, it's the stuff they haven't put out as singles. That's for you.
Yeah, honestly, I feel stupid that I haven't already listened to this album. So I gotta do something about that, because they are a band that, like, for many years I was always like, confused why not everybody was into them. I was totally confused.
Same here. You drag them into a conversation about like extreme heavy metal, or people saying, "Oh, nobody's doing anything original," or "Oh, there's no good stuff around," blah blah blah, and you throw them in the conversation. They're like, "Who?"
Yeah,
it's like, "What do you mean, who?"
Yeah,
it's like, "Buh," And the interview I did with Isle was really interesting as well, because he's, there's not been a new Daath album for 13 years, and he spent a load of years just putting a fucking school for extreme metal together. To fucking curate the genre and help raise another generation of geniuses. I mean, how fucking cool is that?
Yeah, I feel like there was a big gap because the other sort of co-songwriter guy wasn't. I don't think if he was going to be involved or not, because there was the two main dudes from Daath, and then one of them is not involved anymore. But I'm assuming there was probably a long process of trying to get him to do it too. Maybe
I'm not so sure about that, because I think it's been Isle's project right from the outset.
Oh, interesting. Okay, or maybe it was just the other guy was just another amazing guitar player that was constructing shit with him. But
well, that's the other thing as well. The level of playing on this album, that is something that I should have mentioned. It's just like, that's what kind of sets it apart. It's like everybody is fucking nailing an 11 out of 10 performance. It is just, yeah.
Like I can't stress it enough. I feel dumb that I haven't already listened to it. I don't know why. Like I hadn't been paying it. I pay attention to so much music that it came out and just flew under my radar. And I'm like, now I know to go check that out. Check out Unpeople. Fuck, I'm even going to check out Hellbutcher.
Yeah. I don't even know if there's a Hellbutcher single out. Like, I was sent the album and thought I'll check that out. Mad.
Cool.
Mad.
Yeah. Well, that's great. Yeah. So I mean, I probably will really like the Daath album, considering how much I like what they've done before. So I'm
excited for you, mate. I'm excited for you.
Yeah. So that's it, man. I feel like we covered a lot of ground today. We give everybody that, we take a few months off in between episodes, but we really come back with a bunch of shit for everybody. So
that's I mean, that's got to be about 8 releases. There'll be no room for our faces on the cover art of this podcast. It'll just be like, they'll just be like, we'll both look like we have acne because we've just got our faces are covered by little album covers.
I'm just gonna cover your face with the 4-Stroke Baron album.
Yeah. You should do it. You should do it like it's coming, like I'm puking it out of my mouth. Like that picture of me with my mouth open. It's just like 4-Stroke Baron on the end of my tongue. Like some musical acid tab.
Yeah.
There you go. Stick that on the fucking sticker for the album. 4-Stroke Baron's new albums, like a musical acid tab. Yeah, that should get it banned. That's frightening. They're coming to London. I'm gonna have to look that up and so I can apologize in person.
But they seem so like they really want you to come see them and everything. So but But I think mostly
Oh
they just
dear.
I think mostly they just like you and they want to be your bud now. And so it's like fuck liking our band. You seem like a cool dude, you know?
That's very kind. That's very kind. Fucking hell, this is weird. But oh, dude, look, this has been an absolute blast. Hey,
Yeah.
everyone, this was
Mm-hmm.
episode 21. Yeah, 21 and
Yep.
done. Looking good. That's a wrap, folks. It just remains for me to say, please like and subscribe, ring that bell, and all the rest of it, and visit patreon.com/Howard H. Smith, where you can sign up and give me money so I can keep slagging people off.
And he
Or
can update you
alternatively,
he can update you on the writing of the new Acid Rain album, which I'm
oh
very
yeah,
excited
yeah.
for.
Keep you well and truly updated on that as well. And so it's goodbye from me and my wonderful co-host, Stephen Oldhead Ivy. It's all four names now. I've decided I can't go wrong that way.
Whatever, but I'm just going to start going by head. That way, it's just a lot easier. I don't know.
Yeah, yeah. Don't do that. It's a bit sexual.
Oh yeah, you're right. Never mind. All right. Bye everyone.
See you, everyone. Ha! Got you there. It's not really finished. There's still highly professional. There is still one more album to be reviewed, and it's another one from me, and it is the new album by probably Australia's greatest unknown band, and that is the band called Mammal. The album is called The Penny Drop. It is completely independent released, so you got to go to Bandcamp to get it. You can go to all of your streaming suppliers. That's a given. But if you go to Bandcamp, that will mean the band get more money, and you still get big fat WAV of the album if you want. You get your MP3s, whatever. So also the vinyl's available now as well. And very soon there will be an interview with legendary frontman Zeke Ox on Talking Bollocks, that wonderful podcast that I host. Now, any of you who know of Mammal or familiar with Mammal, which I'm presuming is none of you, because I seem to be the only person who knows Mammal, is into Mammal and likes Mammal. I mean, I fucking love them. It is, how do I describe it? It's just good. It's good. It's heavy. There's grooves. Zeke says during the interview we do with him, he says, yeah, the album sounds like kind of 90s in places, doesn't it? You know, it's kind of 90s vibe. And he's absolutely right. But it's unabashed. They are, I really don't know how to describe them. I really don't. Apart from very, very committed. They are all about the music. They're all about, everybody being free, governments sucking huge ass, and just there's kind of like really groovy parts. There's kind of really heavy parts. There's two songs on the album that are almost like thrash, but they're not. They're kind of mainstream, but they're kind of almost thrash. Great vocals, brilliant rhythm section, wonderful guitarist, riff laden, in a kind of 90s throwback style. Just really good, heavy, rockish, metalish, almost funky in places, almost it's punkish as well. I can't really do a half decent job of describing Mammal to you, but all I can say is I like everything they've ever done. The new album fucking rocks, and there's a great video for you to go and watch and get a vibe of the band, because they are very much a vibe band. So there is the song Agree to Disagree on YouTube. There's a great live video for it. It's live, but it's the album version of the song.
Yeah.
Go and check it out. And if you think, I kind of fancy some of that, then go and check out Mammal, The Penny Drop. Just a great return to form. The first album for a very, very long time. I, for one, am very glad they're back. And that really is the end.
So that the last thing they did was a single, right? Like it's been a couple years maybe, and they put out just a single. Because
they put two or three singles out, yeah.
Now I'm thinking that what it was is that you played it on the radio Bollocks, and then I went to go listen to the singles that they had out at the time, and I remember really being into it. So now I gotta go. I added that album to my Apple Music as well. I'm gonna go check that out. So yeah,
awesome, mate. There's some tunes on there that are really going to take you back to the 90s, and there's some tunes that are going to sound like, whoa, this is like fucking intense, and sounds like it was released yesterday, because ironically it was. But yeah, it's really weird. There is a genuine like wander through the eras. Although a lot of people I know have all said the same thing, that one of the weakest songs is the opening track of the album. And I kind of agree and disagree, because that's what I thought initially, but then I realized it was really cool. But I have to say, I'm a big Mammal fan, and the first time I listened to the album, I was like, and I said this to Zeke, first time I listened to it, I was like, I'm not sure about this. I'm not sure about the production. I'm not sure about some of the song choices. Second time I listened to it, I was like, which was immediately after the first, I just went, oh yeah, this is good. And by about the fifth listen, I was just like, yeah, I need to listen to this about once a day for the next few months.
nice.
So,
Yeah, that's high praise right there. All right, cool.
seal of approval, recommended, go get.
And now it's the proper ending of the episode, which we already did an ending before. So we're just gonna